Hey, are you thinking of moving to Fountain Hills? Well, you might want to watch this video because we're going to talk about the 10 reasons not to move to Fountain Hills. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about the 10 reasons not to move to Fountain Hills. Now, Fountain Hills is a wonderful community and many people love that area, but there are some things that some people might not appreciate about living there. So on this, we're going to talk about the 10 things in no particular order, but getting right into it. Let's start out. So first thing is Fountain Hills has limited job opportunities. It is what's known as a bedroom community, and it's a small town, so there aren't really that many job or employment opportunities right within the town itself. Now, its location is pretty nice, being right on the outskirts of the Phoenix metro area. So it is a bit quieter, but it is a bit of a drive to get into town to go to whatever employment you are working at. So definitely keep that in mind if you are trying to live close to where you're working.
A lot of people that do have work from home opportunities, though, do love living in Fountain Hills because it is so quiet. But if you're, like Josh said, if you're having to commute, it can be a rather long commute. So next up on the list, like most of the Phoenix metro area, the reason you wouldn't want to move to Fountain Hills is the extreme heat in the summertime. We're not going to lie to you, it does get very, very hot. So if you just can't stand the heat, then it might not be a great choice for you. However, if you have the opportunity to live in Fountain Hills for most of the year and maybe like go somewhere else like the mountains or something like that for those really couple 2, maybe 3 really hot months, then Fountain Hills might actually be a great location for you.
Yep, it is one of the top destinations for our winter visitors and snowbirds coming down, so you might really like it. Next is the very limited public transportation in Fountain Hills. Now, the rest of the Phoenix metro area, we do have public transport, but it is still relatively limited, especially for a city our size. And Fountain Hills is even worse than the rest of the Phoenix metro area. Being on the outskirts and more of a bedroom community, there's really not any public transport. I believe there's one bus route that goes down Shea Boulevard, which is kind of the main arterial road on the south side of Fountain Hills. Other than that, you really don't have anything for public transport. So if you are wanting to be there, there are some communities where you can walk to basically everything, but being on the outskirts of town, if you are trying to get in, it is one of the communities where it is definitely recommended to have a vehicle of some sort to get you to and from wherever you're trying to go.
So next up on our list, doesn't bother me a whole lot, but there is very, very limited nightlife in the Fountain Hills area. There's a couple of restaurants that have some music, but most of the music is usually done by 10, maybe 11 o'clock at night. So if you're really looking for that nightlife scene, then Fountain Hills probably isn't the community for you.
And a lot of times those music scenes are, if you're lucky, are done by 10, 11. Most of the time they're done by 7 or 8 p.m. And after about 7 o'clock, the town gets very, very quiet. So
if you're looking for a quiet place, it's a great option.
Yep, but if you are looking for that nightlife and that bustling kind of lifestyle, might not be the prime choice. So moving on is cost of living. So cost of living in Fountain Hills is actually quite high. It's not as high as several of the other areas in Arizona or in the Phoenix metro, but comparatively to many other areas around the country, it is still very high. You can get in there for a lot of the communities and the homes. They're $1 million plus over in Fountain Hills, so keep that in mind that cost of living, even though you're on the outskirts, doesn't go down all that much.
Yeah, and a couple of other reasons that make the cost of living a little bit higher in Fountain Hills is, we mentioned earlier, not a lot of work opportunities. So because it is very limited in the number of businesses that are there, there's not a lot of tax revenue coming from businesses. So unfortunately, they have to make it up with the homeowners. So the property taxes in Fountain Hills are going to be a little higher than some of the other communities, and the sales tax is also just a little bit higher than, say, next door in Scottsdale or down in Mesa. So those are some of the things that you're going to consider. If you do that, like that nice quieter lifestyle, it's going to come at a little bit of an extra cost. Next up on the list is kind of the limited cultural diversity in Fountain Hills. Not a whole lot to do there. There aren't any movie theaters right now. I know they've been talking about building one for a while. There is a small community theater that a lot of people seem to enjoy. But other than that, not a lot of museums and, more cultural events. Well, with the exception of some of the outdoor,
Festivals
art
and stuff they
festivals
have.
and things like that. But so, Fountain Hills is still part of the greater Phoenix metropolitan area, so the cultural activities are there, just not right in the community.
Moving on to number 7 on the list is the limited shopping that's available in Fountain Hills. Now, Fountain Hills, they do have some grocery stores and some other little things, but other than like a major grocery store or a Target or things of that nature, there's really not any shopping areas like the rest of the valley has. So if you are wanting that shopping, the closest to you is going to be over in Scottsdale or down in Mesa. If you want those larger box stores or the different variations and things of that nature, although there are quite a few good restaurants in Fountain Hills, but again, not very many.
There's a few little cute little boutiques, but other than that, yeah, Josh is right. The shopping in Fountain Hills, unfortunately, is very limited. But like you said, 20, 30 minutes away, you've got lots of other options.
Yep, the main shopping in Fountain Hills is going to be right on Avenue of the Fountains, right by the iconic Fountain Hills Park. And there is just going to be very small little kind of boutique things. So if you are in that shopping thing and you want to stay local, you're going to have to wait for some of the events going on, such as the farmers market or other art festivals if you're wanting to do that, or you're going to have to go over to some of the neighboring cities.
So next up on the list at number 9 is kind
Number
of a,
8. Number 8.
Sorry, number 8 is the remote location of it. So if you look on the map, you can see Fountain Hills is kind of in the far northeast corner of the valley. And there's really only 2 ways to get into the Phoenix metro area. You can take Shea Boulevard, or you can go down Arizona 87. We call it the Beeline to get into Phoenix. So if there's ever any accidents on either of those roads, it can be a nightmare getting in and out of Fountain Hills. So just know about that. Those accidents don't happen very often, but when they do, that they can be a major inconvenience to the families that are living in Fountain Hills.
Yep, there's actually a third way in, but it's not a very common way, and that's on the far northeast side coming down from Rio Verde. But that takes you kind of way out of the city, and you have to go way over and then backtrack back down. It takes ages, and it doesn't happen very often with the 2 main arterial lines coming in there getting blocked. But I remember one time, what was it, about 5 or so years ago, they end up getting blocked. People trying to get in or out were stuck in there for hours before everything was cleared up trying to get in. So keep that in mind. It is very rare, but can happen, and I just want to make sure you guys are in the know of where you're trying to go. So moving on to number 9. Fountain Hills unfortunately has very limited educational opportunities. They do have a middle school, a high school, and an elementary school there, but that's really about it. There's no real higher education. Their high school there is quite small, so if you are looking for sports or one of the major 5A1, which is the size of the high school. They don't have any of those major ones, and if you are into athletics and sports, being in one of those larger high schools or other school systems will get you a bit more opportunities for that sports and sometimes the other educational opportunities from AP programs, honors programs, or international baccalaureate, dual enrollment, things of that nature. So just keep in mind Fountain Hills is quite limited to that. And
I mean, they do have, all the high school does have, your traditional basketball and baseball and football and things like that, but just at a much small school level.
Yeah, I believe it's either a 3A or a 4A school, the high school there. And if you are looking for that higher education, there's stuff in the vicinity in the neighboring cities, but nothing right there in Fountain Hills, unfortunately.
Okay, and are we on number 10?
We are.
Okay, number 10 on the list is Fountain Hills does seem to attract a lot of older people, which, like I said, it's fine for me. Maybe not for somebody that's younger and is looking for that younger vibe. But it does seem to attract a lot of people that it's a second home for them, or maybe it's a retirement home. So if that's you and you're looking for that little bit slower pace of life, Fountain Hills is a great option. But if you're looking for a lot of things to do, a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping, then Fountain Hills probably isn't your jam.
Yeah, being that it's so popular with the older individuals and stuff of that nature, and a very popular winter destination, second home. It is relatively quiet during summer, but again, when they come, it gets very busy during winter, and speeds on the road can slow down quite a bit there. The average speed limit on most of the roads in Fountain Hills are also very low comparatively to the rest of the valley and stuff too. So if you are ever in a hurry or like that, going quickly kind of stuff, Fountain Hills is definitely not the ideal area. Well, that covers our top 10 reasons not to move over to Fountain Hills, Arizona. If you liked any of those ideas we mentioned or want to hear more about them, please just leave a comment down below or reach out to us. Or likewise, if there's something that you want to know that we didn't cover here, please reach out or leave a comment down below. Our info's right down there, right above the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Lets other people find the content and get that valuable information as well. But thanks for joining us. Have a good one.